Hello, welcome students. Today we are going to learn the Tragedy of Macbeth, written by the world famous dramatist and playwright William Shakespeare. The play is in 5 acts and several scenes. It is written in the Elizabethan age. This video is in 2 parts. First of all, I will introduce, then there is a characterization, and in which some important, remarkable, striking lines of the drama in every act I will explain. Before that, let's have some introduction. Elizabethan age, as you know, it's a Queen Elizabeth who ruled at 1558 to 1608, is a very flourishing and prosperous age for the literary artists. In this age, many artists developed their calibers and produced a lot of literature. This period, Elizabethan theatre, having a great opening by university wits. University wits are the group of students and scholars from 1580. They were all scholars and they were very, very brilliant as long as they read ancient Greece literature. From their pen, a number of dramas created. And you can see they opened the drama and they contributed the drama of English literature very much. After university wits, we have a Jacobean drama. But before that, university wits are they are all graduates and they are all scholars, and they wrote several plays. Suppose Christopher Marlowe is name. He wrote Dr. Faustus. Then we have Thomas Kidd, who wrote the Spanish Tragedy. We have G.S.Kale. We have Thomas Nash, and so many writers such as they contribute their role. After university wits, we have a towering personality, just like William Shakespeare. It appears in the scene, and during the Elizabethan age, the Elizabethan theatre is dominant by this towering personality of William Shakespeare. He innovatively quite, and he blends tragedies, comedy, historical plays, romances, and all these comedies also. He blends it and creates something new, and he became a popular thing. He earned the name and fame in those areas, and in the period of Queen Elizabeth. Then we have a Jacobean drama, and Jacobean drama is mostly written by, in that period, Ben Jonson is a powerful man, come out, an artist and a dramatist. He wrote several plays, and William Shakespeare and Ben Jonson, in his latter part of his career, they produced several plays, and that's why this, from Elizabethan theatre to Jacobean drama, it's a period of Renaissance. They produced so many literature, and that's why this literature is called as golden period of literature, golden period of English literature, in which we have so many of writers, they came, such as Sydney, we have Francis Bacon, we have Edmund Spenser, then we have uh, Shakespeare, we have university wits, and so many writers, Ben Jonson as well. So these writers, Christopher Marlowe, and these writers have contributed greatly, and that's why we will call it as the golden period in English literature. Then we have Caroline drama. Caroline drama is in the reign of Charles I, 1625 to 1642. And after that, a tragic incident happened due to civil war in 1642. There is a closure of the drama, closure of the theatres. Theatres closed, no drama is written, and during that dark period of that, after that, we have a Restoration Age in 1660 by Charles II. There is again a revival of drama. So William Shakespeare, as you know, in his latter part of his career, you may say, has mostly written great tragedies. These tragedies are Julius Caesar, Hamlet, Othello, Macbeth, and Antony and Cleopatra. These tragedies have a great impact on the people of that day. They become popular, and we are going to learn Macbeth. That's the most powerful tragedy. You know, Macbeth, this drama, Tragedy of Macbeth, has some distinguishing feature in it. First of all, the powerful feature, you know, it is the strongest and darkest of all the tragedies of Shakespeare, as long as there is a melodramatic effect or elements it contains. Melodramatics means you have deaths, bloodshed, we have suicides, we have cruelties and violence on the stage, we have innocents and virtuous also suffered, and there is so much of massacre, and due to these things it has a melodramatic effect. Another striking and most important feature in this that Shakespeare, it is the first drama written by Shakespeare, or first tragedy in which witches are introduced. 3 witches are introduced, and we have a Lady Macbeth also is the 4th witch, as some critics have described her character. Another important is, you know, that conflict is the soul of the drama, and the conflict in Macbeth is very strong, powerful. It is the swift and takes the pace, and it sustains throughout the drama. It is maintained by the dramatist throughout the drama, the conflict up till the catastrophe also. From exposition to catastrophe, it is maintained, the conflict is always there, from battleground to the battleground. There are so many internal and external conflicts, and we also have a very striking feature that Shakespeare has made this character, Macbeth, as hero turned into villain. This is the only one drama or tragedy in which Shakespeare has changed the hero into villain. Hero turned into villain in this play. So coming to the another part of this drama, from the hierarchical point of view, from the status, positions, from rankings, I will like to introduce the characters, very, very important characters, some major characters as well. So come to another point, First of all, the Duncan, and Duncan is the King of Scotland. This drama is located at the Scotland, and only at one place England is there, in Act number 3, I think, if I am not wrong. So it revolves around the Scotland and battlegrounds and forts, the Palace of Inverness and Palace of Forest, Scotland. So he was the king of the Scotland, King Duncan. You may say these. He was very generous, meek, and simple, as well as very, very generous man. He governs all the Scotland and government very smoothly. He managed everything here. He has two sons, the Donalbain and Malcolm. Duncan rules the Scotland orderly and well-mannered. Duncan trusts the two generals, Macbeth and Banquo. In his army, he has two powerful generals by means of which he wins the battles. He invades, he crushes the tyranny or betrayal persons. He is very faithful, loyal. He loves his subjects or people of the Scotland, and equally people also loves and respect and honor him. As long as his character is, he conferred the Prince of Cumberland on Macbeth. He conferred the Prince of Cumberland on Malcolm, the title, and he declared his successor of his throne. Critics, or we too believe to some extent, that in this matter he is a hypocrite and diplomatic type of person, as long as he loves Macbeth and his outstanding personality. Macbeth general, he praises Macbeth very much. But Duncan is a very meek and soft in nature. He trusts anybody easily, and he falls prey to the evil couple, Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. As he readily announces to visit the Macbeth's castle of Inverness, he becomes the guest, and the wicked couple slain Duncan. And another quality of it is that he is a very generous man, charitable man, as long as he confers a gift of diamond to the lady who stays. That Lady Duncan, Lady Macbeth, a diamond is given to Lady Macbeth for her hospitality. We have a striking contrast between this King Duncan and the ruler Macbeth also. There we have Duncan is meek, Macbeth is ambitious, cruel, violent. And these two powerful kings are contrasted in this, and you can say is contrasting. You can see this in this drama. Striking contrast can be observed. Macbeth is wicked, Macbeth is cruel, Macbeth is violent, and Duncan is very generous and saintly. He was a skillful ruler, as I said, that he took certain important decisions. He sentenced death to Macdonald, who betrayed or treacherous and who cheats the army. Then he sends Macbeth and Banquo on several expeditions and missions. And Macbeth and Banquo every time wins, coming victorious. So looking from all angles, Duncan is a very generous man, saintly man, virtuous man, and a great administrator, a great lovely father as well, who considers all the subjects and people as his children. But it is very saddest part that he was assassinated by the cruel, the ambitious Macbeth in the very second act, act number 2, scene 2. There is the end of his character and role in this play. Macbeth is the titular hero of this play. He is from royal family, just like Duncan. Macbeth, at the initial stage, was very brave, loyal, faithful to King Duncan. King Duncan has a great trust on Macbeth. But later, in the latter part, when Macbeth gets the information, gets some predictions from 3 witches, his mind began to contemplate, meditate. He thinks too much. He ponders over the 3 predictions. These were predictions. Hail to thee, Thane of Promise, Thane of Horror, and thou shalt be the king hereafter. By listening these 3 powerful titles, he transforms from a faithful warrior, brave warrior, to a unscrupulous, ambitious person, dictator, tyrant. So there is a change in his character just because of these 2 persons, you may say, 2 factors, the witches and his own wife, Lady Macbeth. When he was returning from the battleground, in the meanwhile, he wrote a letter to Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth reads that letter. Lady Macbeth understands that Macbeth is going to get 3 titles. She hatched plan of murder. She also changed, transformed. So from hero to antagonist, from protagonist to antagonist, there is a transformation of his character. You see from we can learn or read the drama. We see the transformation, change in character of Macbeth. There is a downfall of Macbeth owing to his own character. You may say character is destiny, or who is responsible for his doom. That is the object of in personal point of view, interpretation of her own. He became a Satan or a butcher towards the end of the play, and he died. Macduff slain Macbeth in that tremendous fight on the battleground near Burnham Forest. So retribution is over. There is a poetic justice. In the end, Malcolm resumes on his kingdomship. But this, due to his unsurpassed skill of war, the king has conferred him the title Thane of Order. Thane of Clemency he has inherited from his father, and then later on killed the king in their own house or castle or mansion, Inverness, Castle of Inverness, and thereafter he became the sole monarch, dictator on this throne. He becomes a terror and commits several blunders and mistakes, and he spills the blood of the innocents. He orders so many murderers. He hired the ruffians. He killed the chamberlain's guards. He ordered Macduff and Lady Macduff, the whole family, to be killed by the murderers. The whole battle is responsible, and after that battle, he lost his life. Tragic life. That's a tragic hero. Shakespeare has introduced this tragic hero in his tragedies. That's the outstanding feature of that he has some flaw in character. He has some drawback. Lagunas. The flaw in character, tragic flaw, you can say that is responsible for his collapse. And Macbeth is nothing but evil epitomized. Evil. He has some bad qualities, and he is immoral. He loses the control of his own mind. He passes through a number of hallucinations and visions as well, terrible dreams. He saw the dragon in the air. His intentions, he is passing through so many mental upsets, and after that he got the throne, but he is not satisfied. He, after getting a fulfillment of his dream to become a king, he always haunted by the idea about the Banquo and Banquo's son to be the successor of this throne. So he ordered murderers to murder the Banquo and his son. The son, he has fled, and Banquo is killed. Banquo and Macbeth both are very close friends. But Witch's third prophecy was that thou shalt get kings, thou be none. This prophecy hurts Macbeth, and he ordered Banquo and his son to be killed. In the attempt, his son escaped, and Banquo is killed. So he killed murder after murder. He ordered Macduff and his family he sent murderers in Macduff's family. Macduff escaped and went to England, but his family suffered. They lost their lives. So it's a tragic incident that is a lovely, innocent wife. She too turns to the foe. She too turns and changes into a cruel, wicked lady. In fact, she instigates Macbeth to commit such heinous crime. It's a regicide. They have killed the king, and king has arrived as a guest in their castle of Inverness. And due to this crime, the guilty consciousness, the Lady Macbeth also became insane, and she suffered by the sleepwalking illness. There you can see. And when she learns that Malcolm, young Seward, and Macduff is arriving and to attack on their castle and Dunsinane, she loses every confidence and commits suicide. So she also lost her life. Macbeth had a very pleasant family life, but due to their ambitious temperament, nature, they have lost their lives. Macbeth, towards the last of when messenger Satan comes and narrates narrates about the death of Lady Macbeth. He seems to be very indifferent to the news. She should have died hereafter. That was the statement he made. And about Lady Macbeth, his own wife, he ceased to have any meaning of his in Macbeth's life. So the towering personality changed from hero to the protagonist to antagonist, and Shakespeare has sketched and delineated this character with his skill, dramatic skill and techniques. Then coming to the Banquo. He is also general, equally brave as Macbeth is. He also loves Macbeth and their friendship, and they go on every expeditions, war fronts. They fought battles, and while returning, they also get affected by the three witches. They were encountered by the three witches, and three witches have created some stir in their mind, a spark of ambition in their mind. Banquo is a loyal, calculated, and very trusted soldier or general in King Duncan's army. He has a son, Flans, always accompanied with him. He has delineated this character in such an extent that after his death, the ghost is appeared, and we have two characters in one play. Quite this ghost scene you can see at banquet. After the murder of Banquo by the murderer sent by Macbeth, the ghost appeared and spoils the entire atmosphere of the function. And this ghost, Lady Macbeth, then managed somehow and control the situation. Macbeth did get disturbed and he talks just like a madman. Ghost vanishes, Banquo becomes the victim of circumstances. So we have another third brave, Thane of Fife of Scotland. This character is strongly built by William Shakespeare, as long as he changed the fate of the drama or tragedy. He is a figure who took revenge over this ambitious Macbeth, and he beheaded Macbeth in the last act, and there the drama ends. He was a Thane of Fife, a very loyal and faithful to King Duncan. His appearance in this drama, just 2 or 3 times, but he appears in act number 2, scene number 2, after the King Duncan's death. He remained dormant. And in act number 4, once again, he became dynamic and active. And he played the role of a very valiant diplomatic and as well as a very, very unsurpassed skill warrior. You can see that Macbeth had to go to England, leaving Scotland, leaving his kingdom, leaving his own wife, Lady Macbeth, and children. So there is a separation between them. This separation may be a theme of this tragedy also. He had to leave Scotland for certain reasons. As there is a murder of King Duncan in Macbeth's own castle, he becomes suspicious over the Malcolm and Duncan, these two sons. He thought that these two sons might have killed their own father, King Duncan. This was the possibility. Then later on, he realized some conspiracy, and later on Macbeth ordered the murderers to kill entire family. Macbeth sends a spy in Macduff's house, and Macduff didn't attend the coronation ceremony of Macbeth, as well as Macduff didn't attend the banquet. So due to these reasons, 2 reasons, Macbeth gets suspicion over Macduff and he orders such cruel things. And Macduff becomes the victim of these circumstances and unscrupulous, vaulting ambition of the tragic hero Macbeth. He joins English army, young Seward, old Seward. He met Malcolm in England, and with these 3 people, 3 powerful soldiers, they attack and invade the castle of Inverness and Dunsinane. Their aim is to fall of tyranny, fall of dictatorship, to crush the tyranny of Macbeth. They want to free the Scotland from the clutches of ambitious Macbeth, cruel Macbeth. There is chaos everywhere, and at last he becomes successful in his attempt. Macbeth was a person who gets a retribution and who has beheaded the powerful tyrant Macbeth towards the end and ends the brutal rule of Scotland, ruled by Macbeth. It was he that, invading together, and took the revenge of his tortures, sufferings, the killings of his own family and kinship. He lost everything in his life. Malcolm suggested him to fight against Macbeth jointly, and they become successful in their attempts. And Scotland is freed and liberated. So the role of Macbeth is very important in this tragedy of Macbeth, as long as he rescues everybody from the hold of Macbeth and his dictatorship. He became a liberator of Scotland. Then we have a very powerful character, Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth, in the initial stages of the drama, is very lovely lady of, she is a caretaker of Macbeth. She loves Macbeth very much. They have a healthy relations. The couple enjoys the position, but once there is she reads the letter turned the mindset of Lady Macbeth. From that letter, she realized certain titles. She read the titles, and from it becomes the origin of ambition that generates in her mind. She too visualizes husband to be crowned, husband to be a king of Scotland. On hearing from the messengers also that King Duncan is going to visit their castle of Inverness, she hatches a plan of conspiracy to kill Duncan. She had to do a lot of efforts to convince and to join Macbeth to her plan of killing Duncan. Macbeth was not ready, as Duncan was highly respectable and honorable in his mind. Duncan was a guest. He was not ready to kill in his own mansion, Inverness Castle. But somehow or other, Lady Macbeth tried to lead him into vicious and hideous crime of regicide. Lady Macbeth knew that her husband is very, very kind, meek, to commit such a mistake, such a crime, milk of kindness. But finally, they together join the mission to kill Duncan, and there starts their tragedy. After killing Duncan, they suffer a great hallucination. They were passing through mental tortures and sufferings. It was Lady Macbeth, who is considered as a fourth witch in this drama. Three witches have already made the mind of Macbeth to be a king. Macbeth becomes suspicious. Lady Macbeth too becomes suspicious over people, but she is a very, very good, seasoned actor. After killing Duncan, she plays a role in such a fine way in order to avoid the suspicion among the people gathered at that place. She is very wise, equally wicked, cruel, intelligent. She commits the heinous crime. She was very courageous as long as she takes the dagger after killing the guest Duncan. Macbeth hurriedly comes to her room with the dagger in his hand. All these daggers she collects and take it back to on the body and pillows of the chamberlain she drops in order to charge the act of murder on the chamberlains or guards. So she is very wise, she is very calculating, she is very practical, and she is just like having quality, man-like quality, courageous, fearless. But after the position, once Macbeth gets the position as a king and she became the queen, the killing of Duncan in their own house, the regicide, she would not digest the murder of King Duncan. She always became restless, sleepless. A number of thoughts hover over her mind that disturbs her sleeps. Macbeth also does not be able to sleep. Similarly, the idea of the guilt, she could become restless every time. And in a very, very important act number 5th and scene number 1, she is haunted by her whole mental illness in Dunsinane, in the castle. But she is very wise, she handled the situation. Every time when there is a ghost of Banquo appears in the banquet, she tried to convince the people about Macbeth's act of madness. She pleases with them and control over the situation. But later on, day after day, her health deteriorates, her mental peace, and she suffers the internal conflict within his mind, internal conflict within her mind, and she, at last, we have heard that she commits suicide. So there ends her character in act number, last act. You can say that this Lady Macbeth is often considered as the fourth witch in this entire, and she is often described by Malcolm in the last speeches of Malcolm as a fiend-like queen. Malcolm has described Macbeth as a dead butcher. Similarly, the queen is called fiend-like queen, and there she was a sufferer as long as in the ambition to become a queen also. In the initial stage she was very innocent, she is faithful to the king also, but latter part, in this run and race to be crowned as a queen, she too spoils her career and position as a queen, and at last she commits the suicide. So there ends her character. Her character is very, very powerfully delineated, and her guilt and self-atonement lead her to her untimely death, and she loses everything, her position, power as a queen. And now the witches. Shakespeare has introduced three witches and their protectress, that is the boss of witches, the Hecate. These three witches play a very major role, significant role in the tragedy. They represent heavy forces, mysterious forces, interfere in human beings. They instigate Macbeth every time. They guide Macbeth in every difficult situations. But they are the real culprit behind this tragedy. These three witches are always living in the heath on some lonely places, deserted places, and they conjure, they attract, they lure, and they can predict. They have the capacity and capability of predicting or fortune telling. They prophesy somebody about becoming something. Macbeth and Banquo get fascinated towards their announcement. The three announcements, the first which say, "All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis." Then the second which also says, "All hail Macbeth, the Thane of Khara." Then the third which prophesies, "All hail Macbeth, thou shalt be the king hereafter." These three prophecies change the life of both the persons. These wishes are responsible for the breakage of friendship bond among these two great warriors, generals Macbeth and Banquo. By these three prophecies, Macbeth was greatly amazed and wondered. He tried to conjure, he tried to visualize himself to be a king. Banquo was also shocked. He was also thinking about his offsprings or son to be a king. So from their dialogues you can see Macbeth says, your children shall be kings. Banquo says, you shall be king. So this is a discussion between the first encounter, the play, the very play, this tragedy opens with the three witches discussing on each other, and they always think about the negative aspect of life. They were shown very sharp-witted, sharp-tongued, and they were ugly creatures. They always evil epitomized. There is a Hecate also. Hecate is the protectress of all these three witches. And these witches create images and apparitions in act number 4, scene number 1. Macbeth wants some more information about his fate and destiny, and they foretell and they could create 3 apparitions from that. These apparitions, Macbeth could understand his destiny, his fate, his fortune, his luck, you may say. So these 3 witches, under this grip of these 3 witches, both of the friends and the Lady Macbeth also get affected by these witches' prophecies. Macbeth wrote the letter, and in that letter he conveys the message that he would be a king. Then Lady Macbeth also thinks on the same line, and she has a plan of murder of Duncan, and King Duncan murdered, and after that Banquo was killed by the murders ordered by Macbeth, and so many murders took place, and everything gets affected by the cruel fortunes telling, cruel prophecies of 3 witches. They were mysterious and supernatural elements. They always affect the human beings and lead them to mislead Macbeth also, and change the fate of Macbeth. Macbeth become ambitious, in fact over-ambitious. His vaulting ambition, unscrupulous ambition, overleaping ambition is responsible for his death, for this tragedy. These 3 witches, their role played in this drama is highly important. Every time they instigate Macbeth, they guide Banquo as well. They are the agents responsible for creating a stir and disturbing mind and friendship between the Banquo and Macbeth. And later on, in the final act, Act 4, the scene 1, these 3 witches create images. From that images, we can say the first apparition creates an armed man. Armed man, here it is. First apparition, having a sword with full blood. And that first apparition, Macbeth, beware Macduff. It warns Macbeth, to be taken care of, to be beware about Macduff. Then second apparition also come with a bloody child. This is the image of bloody child. The bloody child, the second apparition also proclaims, be bloody, bold, and resolute. None of the women born shall harm Macbeth. Here Macbeth is happy with this pronouncement of the second apparition, the second witch, and the third apparition come with the image of a child crowned with a tree in his hand. Child crowned with a tree in his hand. This, it proclaims, be loin-mated, proud, and take no care. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him. This is line number 90. So in Act 4, scene first, the picture becomes clear, but still Macbeth is unhappy. Macbeth wants about the fortune of Banquo and his son. Then the witches, by their magic power, by their witchcraft, they have created a horrible scene. And that horrible scene disturbed the mind of Macbeth. In that horrible scene, you could see or hear 8 sons, followed by Banquo, appeared and they are crowned. And one son is holding here a mirror or glass. This disturbed the mind of Macbeth very much.
Yes.
Yet, these 3 witches affect the Macbeth's life very much. They all raise the expectation in Macbeth. Macbeth is still seen to be optimistic about the battle, about his retention of kingdom. He thinks to face the challenges boldly because he was a courageous man. He has unscrupulous skills of war and heroism. So he thinks about the war against Malcolm, young Seward English army that is fast marching towards the Dunsinane, the castle of Inverness, or the fort on the battleground where Macbeth stays. Macbeth has also an army. They were under the orders of Macbeth. They were set in themselves in the fort. Then these witches, their role, these witches are ugly creatures. They are all supernatural elements. They have power, forces, and very, very sharp-witted and very bad-tempered. They are quarrelsome as well. But they change the fate of the monarch, powerful dictator of Scotland. Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, the couple falls easy prey of the prophecies of the 3 witches. Macbeth too blindly follows their instructions, their guidelines, their prophecies. In fact, Macbeth has a trust over their witchcraft, magic spells, but at last some doomsday come. Macbeth often call these three witches as respectfully called as the weird sisters. Weird sisters. If you read the drama, he never called them as a witches. Such was the respect of Macbeth towards three witches. So these witches have their say, have their force, mysterious force, unforeseen force over Macbeth and his life that changed their fortune, their destination completely. Macbeth not only ruins his career, but he ruins the entire innocent people, the subject as well, the people of the Scotland. Number of deaths, bloodshed, there is a massacre, innocent people killing, there is a killing of children of Macduff as well. There is so much of harassment, so much of sufferings, tortures, agony. They were living a distressed life. There is a separation, and there is a guilty consciousness of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth as well. Melodramatic scenes, insanity of Lady Macbeth. So, supernatural interference in human life, these things, Shakespeare is at his supreme. He used these devices, supernatural elements, very, very master and creation and product in this production of dramatic art. You can say, in the grip of this supernatural element, Macbeth and Lady Macbeth suffered so many of tortures, ups and downs, and they transformed their life from a very pious, virtuous, morally high, with a high status. They were living at Scotland. Peaceful life, happy married life changes to the somewhat immoral, the satanic, and just like a hell, even after committing the murder of King Duncan in their own house or mansion or castle, Lady Macbeth and Macbeth turned their castle into the hell. There is a portal scene as well, comic relief, and you can see the porter comments on that. A hellkeeper, just like a gatekeeper. So such things happen due to, you may say, the character is destiny, or you can say the interference of the witches. It depends on you to conclude or interfere. It's a justification of your own, drive the conclusion. So the Weird Sisters and the Hecate, it's a team. The Ghost of Banquo and some unnatural events, the atmosphere of horror and terror is very, very masterfully created by our dramatist William Shakespeare. That makes drama highly readable and enjoyable and entertaining, just like a horror movie or horror film. Now, I would invite you to take act-wise and scene-wise some of the important events and lines that you have to join. I will explain this. Once again, welcome to this act-wise, scene-wise setup in pictorial PDF. This clip intends to clear your ideas about plot, progress, and development and structure of this drama. This is the first act picture. We will see in the scene 1, act 1, a heath or a deserted place is shown. And it is a open, barren space. Ugly witches hover in this area. This is the exposition of this play, and we get some knowledge about the witches, their behavior. They were ugly creatures. They often speak evils about the human beings. They were very bad and meddle and interfere in the lives of the human beings. They are shown as mischievous, troublesome, vexing the people and their actions. In the scene 1, they discuss among each other, and we have the first witch in scene 1. When shall we three meet again? The other replies, in thunder, lightning, or in rain. Then there are some dialogues, and only important dialogues is covered in this PDF. Some sequence of events and incidents having a significance in the drama is covered. All the witches unanimously proclaims these words, these lines. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and fill the air. These are the lines in which misleading lines and contradictory lines. They spoil the programs of the human beings. They mislead them. And these contradictory lines suggest the fact that good means evil to us, evil means good to us. Let us then travel in the foggy and foul air, dank air. From this we can get the idea how cruel, how violent, and how disastrous their motive is. Then comes scene number 2, a camp near forest. Then Ross, Malcolm, King Duncan, and all the lords came. Here Ross reports to the King Duncan about the victory of the army of Scotland and praises Macbeth's victory over Donald MacDonald and King of Norway. The King of Norway, Sveno, is defeated. On hearing this, King Duncan becomes very happy. Ross reported the happenings of the battleground, and again in scene 3 we have witches interfere in the life of Banquo and Macbeth. Banquo and Macbeth were on their return home to Scotland after victorious defeat over the King of Norway and assassination of the traitor MacDonald, who was the Thane of Cawdor. He became a traitor and Macbeth slain him. So on their way, they meet three witches. Here comes their dialogue. The first witch, Macbeth: "Speak if you can, what are you?" First witch declares the fortune. "All hail Macbeth, hail to the Thane of Glamis." Macbeth, surprised over this statement, that how these witches knew the name of Macbeth and how can he be the Thane of Glamis. They understand how about he was wondered and surprised over the knowledge and information of these witches. Then second witch again declares, "All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor." Again Macbeth, shocked and quite with interest, he became keen to listen from the third witch. "All hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter." Macbeth, amazed with this particular statement made by third witch, how can be a king? He does not believe on his ears. Then Banquo also demanded the prophecies. "Speak then to me with daring statement." The third witch foretells her, "Thou shalt get kings." Get means beget. "Thou shalt have children. Your children will be the kings. Though thou be none, but you cannot be a king of Scotland." So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. Hail means greet, salute, welcome. There ends the scene number 3. And in scene 4, the drama moves to Forest, the palace, where we have Malcolm and the King of Scotland, Duncan, Donalbain as well. They were in the forest fort, the palace. In that palace, the King Duncan declares Malcolm, his oldest son, to be the Prince of Cumberland. Malcolm is the successor of or heir of to the throne. This message went to Macbeth and this disturbed the mind of Macbeth. Now Malcolm may be the competitor in the race to become a king. His thinking towards Macbeth is looking at Macbeth to be a great obstacle, and he gets disturbed.
his mind get disturbed. Coming to the next part, in scene number 5, we are once again in Inverness. Scene number 5, in Inverness of castle. A room in the Macbeth's castle. Enter Macbeth's Lady Macbeth with a letter. This letter plays a very important role in the development of the tragedy because it is written by Macbeth before his arrival at the Inverness, his hometown, Scotland. He was returning from the battleground and he was about to reach to his hometown, Scotland. But he narrates some experiences about the witches in the form of a letter. This letter changed the fate of both of the Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, the couple. In this letter, it goes like this: they met me, they means witches, in the day of success. They become victorious. They got success over the king of Norway, Sweno and MacDonald. And I have learned by the perfect report, who all hailed me, Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me. Macbeth always call these witches as respectfully weird sisters, and refer to me the coming on the time with Hell King that shall be. These three witches referred me as the future king of Scotland. Farewell. This is the letter that caused the thinking process in Lady Macbeth. At times she was very happy. She seems to be very happy and cheerful and joyous at the progress of her husband. She too started dreaming. She also fascinated towards Macbeth to be crowned, and she also visualizes herself as a queen of Scotland. This is the letter that going to change their fate. So by the witchcraft, by the foretelling or the prediction of three witches, both of the generals of Scotland, powerful general Banquo and Macbeth, shocked, wondered and amazed at these predictions. They become disturbed, equally, unequally excited. Their friendship takes a new turn. They become suspicious over each other. Then we have another scene. We have scene number Act 1, scene 5. Again we have scene number 5. Inverness, Lady Macbeth says to Macbeth, "Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters." Now as you see here, that Lady Macbeth plans to murder the king in their own castle. She also heard about Duncan's arrival in their house, in their castle of Inverness as a guest. So she thinks it's a nice chance to kill Duncan and to become a queen and to make Macbeth the monarch of Scotland. She tried to convince Macbeth and to join her conspiracy of killing Duncan in their own mansion or palace. Macbeth is not really ready to prepare for this. She knows that Macbeth is a man of milk of human kindness. So she advises in the line number 60 to 64, scene number 4, 5. Your face, my Thane, is like a book. Where men may read. She wants to hide the feelings if they commit any crime. People may understand from the gestures, from their behavior, that their intentions. Now, men might understand and discern the strange thought from your mind and from your face. In order to deceive the world, he has to adopt the practices of the world. Let your eyes, your hands, your tongue, your gestures seems to bear the message of welcome. And assume your appearance as innocent as a flower, but be as wild, cunning as the snake lurking under the flower. Here is a suggestion, kind suggestion, a very practical advice given to Macbeth by his own wife. Lady Macbeth is a shrewd and very diplomatic, a cunning, and he may be described as a fourth witch in this drama. It was she that instigates the plan, instigate Macbeth towards the ambition. She is the leader, and she takes Macbeth towards the doom, towards his evil fate and his decline. In Act 1, Scene 7, before. In Scene 6th, we have Macbeth's castle again. It is not so important than Act 1, Scene 7. Macbeth soliloquies here. He is here in doubt, trust. He is here in double trust. First, as I am his kingman and his subject. Here Macbeth is not ready to commit the mistake or crime. He was not ready to kill his own king. He is a subject of Scotland. He is a relative of Duncan. He is a cousin of King Duncan. He was torn between the two ideas: his duty, his loyalty, his truthfulness, his trustworthiness, his honesty towards his king. He was a Thane of Cawdor and a general, and at the same time he has to obey the orders of his wife as well. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition which overleaps itself and falls on the others. In these lines, in scene number 7, it's a soliloquy, line number 12 to he says, I have indeed no personal grudge, no personal complaint or grievance to urge me on this purpose, but only a soaring ambition, vaulting ambition, overleaping ambition, which is apt to overreach itself and so end in disaster. There, end of Act 1, we can understand the plan is done to kill Duncan. In the last scene, scene number 7, Lady Macbeth prepares the mind of Macbeth and Macbeth to join the conspiracy and ready to kill the guest that is coming in that night. So after convincing Macbeth by Lady Macbeth, and she becomes successful in instigating Macbeth to commit a crime and become a king. Here comes act number 2, Inverness Court of Macbeth's castle. Dark night, Banquo and his son Fleance departed, Macbeth all alone in the room in the castle, and he soliloquizes. Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle towards my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. He wants to take hold of the dagger. He sees the vision, a dagger, it's an imaginary dagger, appears before him. It instigates him to commit a crime. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Thee means you. Art thou not fatal vision? Art thou but a dagger of mind, a false creation? He was doubtful whether it's a reality or is a kind of imagination. Then suddenly a bell rings. Here the Lady Macbeth's signal to commit the crime, regicide. It was already planned beforehand, and now I go and it is done. The bell invites me. He is ready. Macbeth is fully ready, prepared to go there and to do the things. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is knell that summons thee to the heaven or hell. And then comes the scene number 2. Lady Macbeth once again. Hark, I laid the daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. Here, Lady Macbeth also confidently says to Macbeth that she had been to the bedchamber of Duncan, but she dared not to commit the crime because King Duncan was in fast asleep, and King Duncan appears her to be her father. Then Macbeth enters. I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear the noise? Lady Macbeth says, I heard the owls screaming and crickets cry. At last, in act number 2, scene number 2, the horrible crime of regicide, killing the king higher authority, has been fruitful and executed. This is the picture of sleeping Duncan. He is murdered by Macbeth. The drugged, sleeping and dead chamberlains, their daggers are smeared with blood of King Duncan. Then we have scene number 2. Lady Macbeth and Mac discusses each other. Still it cried, "Sleep no more, to have all to the house. Glamis has murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more." The Thane of Glamis murdered the sleep. Macbeth cannot sleep from here henceforth. Macbeth is a Thane of Cawdor, but he could not sleep. Macbeth shall sleep no more. The guilty consciousness. He hears the cry, he hears the imaginary voices. Lady Macbeth, why did you bring this dagger from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood. She gave the kind advice, a very wise advice to Macbeth. My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear knocking at the south entry. Retired we go our chamber. She suggests to return to their bedchamber, their rooms. She too is guilty and partaking in his crime. So confidently she says, a little water clears us this deed. This deed is very simple, to kill Duncan, and people will forget. The people of Scotland will forget this murder. They would have no suspicion over our deeds. It is very easy. How easy it is then? After clearing the spots of blood by little water, everything will be all right. Now again scene number 3. It's a porter scene, very important scene, in which we can see a comic relief has its own dramatic significance used by the creator of drama, William Shakespeare. After a horrible and deadly bloody murder of the king and his grooms chamberlain, the dramatist added the comic dialogues made by porter or a gatekeeper to relieve the tension atmosphere, tragic atmosphere, you can say. And here Macduff was appointed to accompany King Duncan. He has to make King Duncan ready in the morning. As usual, he visits the castle of Macbeth, and Macduff appears in the scene, and he inquires about the bedchamber of Duncan. When he entered, Macduff was shocked. Oh horror, horror, tongue nor heart, etc., etc. Awake, awake, ring alarm bell. Murder and treason, Banquo and Donalbain, Malcolm, awake, ring the bell. So by hearing a loud cry, Lady Macbeth also entered and followed Banquo also. Macduff, oh Banquo, our royal master murdered. Lady Macbeth, oh alas, what is in our house? She tried to play a double role. Macduff to Malcolm, your royal father is murdered. Those of his chamber, as it's Lennox, try to say, those of this chamber, as it seemed, had done it. these chamberlains, these guards or the assistants or the security guards, grooms, seem to have done this act. Their hands and faces are badged with blood, and they show their daggers also upon their pillows. Then we have act number 2, scene number 4. Ross giving the information about Duncan's dead body to be carried to Clonkill, where the king is about to bury, and he asks Macduff, "Will you to the Scone?" "No, cousin, I shall be to Fife." Scone is a place where Macbeth's coronation is to take place, but Macduff refuses to attend the function of coronation. And there starts the act number 3. This act number 3 is also very, very significant. We can see now act number 3, scene number 1, Forest, a room in the palace. He first soliloquizes, then enters Macbeth as a king. Here, Macbeth becomes the king, and Lady Macbeth takes charge as a queen. You see, there's a fine saying: behind every successful man, there is a woman, especially the wife, and both getting the supreme authority of Scotland. Here is our chief guest. Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir. Let your highness command upon me my duties. Here Banquo is ready to do any duty assigned by Macbeth. Now Macbeth is a king, and Banquo is simply remain a general and is happy also. Macbeth, fail not our feast. Macbeth insistently and forcefully requested Banquo to attend the function of the royal feast. "My lord, I will not." Secret meeting with two murderers. As Banquo and his son, they are real competitors of Macbeth. Banquo's son would be the king's and possibility, and so Macbeth hatches a plan without consulting Lady Macbeth. He takes the decision to consult and appoint some ruffians or murderers to kill Banquo and his son. There is a secret meeting between the two murderers. Both of you know Banquo was your enemy. He forcefully and emphatically tell to murderers that Banquo is your enemy. Murderers say, "True, my lord. We shall perform what you command. We are resolved, my lord." They are determined, and they agree with Macbeth to commit the crime once again. Now, now act number 3, scene number 2. Macbeth speaks with Lady Macbeth. "You must leave this. Give up thinking like this." Macbeth is still disturbing. "Oh, full of scorpions in my mind, dear wife, thou knowest that Banquo and his friends still alive. But now he has appointed murderers, and here there is in act number 3 we have a park near the palace. In act number 3 and scene number 2, Lady Macbeth's guilty mind could be seen through these soliloquies and dialogues with Macbeth. Act number 3 3, scene number 2. She advises Macbeth to remain cool and calm, gay and cheerful, and happy among the guests. Here also, Lady Macbeth is very giving the practical advice to the King Macbeth. Now, scene number 3. In scene number 2, Macbeth also in full grief, and he is not happy with his situation. Though he get the crown, but still Banquo and Fleance disturbs as long as they are alive. The murderers are assigned and deployed. What will happen next? But it was reported now in the act number 3, scene number 2. Scene number 3 comes. 3 murderers appear in the scene in the night and then enter Banquo and Fleance with a torch. They were riding on the horse, but with a torch, murderers set upon Banquo, and murderers assault on Banquo and Fleance. And Banquo cried with a very loud noise, "O treachery, fly! Good Fleance, fly, fly, fly! Thou mayest revenge, O slave!" Banquo dies, but Fleance able to escape. Fleance flees from the spot. And you see, here comes another scene. Scene number 4. The same spot, a park near the palace, but at the function, a hall in the palace. It's a ghost scene at banquet. It's a feast, royal feast, arranged and prepared by Macbeth, the king. Lady Macbeth is also attending him, accompanying him. And we have the feast is ready, and immediately then the murderer comes. Feast is prepared, ordered by Macbeth. Attendants, Ross, Lennox, lords, everybody is coming and welcomed by the Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, the couple. All participants are in jolly mood. First murderer, Lord. His throat is cut. His means Banquo's. My royal sir, Fleance is escaped. They reported such a horrible news in private, personal to Macbeth. Enter the ghost of Banquo and the seats in the Macbeth's place. At this point of time, at this juncture, ghost enters. Now there is a double rule. Banquo alive and Banquo is in ghost form. Shakespeare's greatness that he has introduced 2 persons in a same one tragedy. Ross, his absence. Sir, his means Banquo's. Ross raised the question to grace us with your royal company. Since both were Banquo and Macbeth becomes very fast friends each other. People also know, lords and attendants also knew this fact very much. But Banquo's absence is striking for those people. Macbeth says the table is full, everything is occupied, no chair is vacant. But Lennox, here is a place reserved for you, sir. The place is reserved. The seat is vacant, but Macbeth sees the seat is not vacant. Everything is full because there is a Banquo, ghost of Banquo sitting on the chair of Macbeth. Where? Here, my lord. What isn't that moves your highness? Lady Macbeth says. Sir, worthy friends, my lord is often thus such a such a fits of madness has haunted to my my lord very often, and he has been from his youth, from the youth age. He is habitual like that. Pray you keep seat. The fit is momentary. The fit is short-lived. He will be all right within few minutes. Upon a thought, addressing to Macbeth and to, do you call yourself a man to behave like this? Macbeth, yes, and a brave man too. For here I am looking at a sight which would terrify the devil himself. Macbeth says that the sight he saw in his chair was very, very terrifying. Even the devil would afraid of that sight, because the murderer reported that Banco has been dead, and the 20 gashes were made, and they stabbed 20 gashes, deep wounds in Banco's head, and Banco was dead. How could he come in this feast? Lady Macbeth says, oh, proper stuff. Stuff means nonsense. This is the very painting imagination, your imagination of your fear. You are afraid of something, and your guilty consciousness shakes you from within. Macbeth, I pray, behold, look, what do you say now? So ghost appears there. Then again re-enter ghosts. Macbeth, haunt, be gone, get out from here, and quit my sight. Let the earth hide thee. You are buried under the deep earth, in the graveyard. Thy bones are now marrowless. Thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in these eyes which thou glare with. Don't look at me so angrily. You are nothing now. Lady Macbeth, think of this, good peers, but a thing of custom. It is no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time. Enjoy the party. She tried to make a cheerful mood of the party. What man dare? I dare. Hence horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence exit the ghost. A kind good night to all. Everybody departed. Act 3, Scene 5. Now here, act number, we have Act 3, Scene 4, and Act 3, Scene 5 is also there, it is not included. Yes, Act 3, Scene 4, banquet feast again continues. First murderer, my lord, his throat is cut. Act 3, Scene 5, a heath, thunder, and enter the Hecate with a meeting. First witch, why now, why Hecate, you look angry? First witch inquires Hecate. Hecate became very angry. Have I not risen, beldam as you are, saucy and overbold? How did you dare to trade this traffic with the Macbeth in riddles and etc. etc. So here Hecate becomes angry over the witches to take decision without her consultancy, without her any advice. Such a bold decisions to meet Macbeth, and without having a consultants, without any advice, taken from Hecate. The witches overpower their supremacy. Now see, here is another act starts. Before that, there is a scene number 6 also. Scene number 6 also. It's in 4S, the palace. In Act 3, Scene 6, we have Macbeth keeps a spy in the Macduff's house. As Macduff didn't attend the coronation ceremony at Scone and the banquet feast also party, he didn't attend, and this act hurts Macbeth very much. He becomes suspicious, and here also Macbeth decides to keep a spy in Macduff's house. As you know, after King Duncan's murder, Macduff flees to England and he joined the English army, as well as he meet Malcolm there. Now act number 4, important act. There is a picture in which a Hecate appears in the scene in a cavern. Cauldron is boiling. The body parts of various animals kept there. The pot is boiling, and here we have the thunder. In thunder, 3 witches enter. First witch, round about the cauldron go, in the poison entails throw. They chant the verse. They dance around each other, the cauldron. It's a very magical sight, amazing sight. All says, double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Enter Hecate and other 3 witches. Oh, done. Well done. I commend your pains. She is happy with the witches. They did some strong soup, and it is necessary for their magic, witchcraft, and their pronouncements and evocations of spirits. So again the music and songs start. Black spirit, black spirit. It goes like this. Exit Hecate, and Hecate retires or disappears. And then Macbeth wants some consultancy, seeks advice. Some advice he want. Further predictions. Macbeth, call them, let them me see. Call the apparitions, call the spirits. I want my future. I want my destiny. I want my fate. All witches, come high or low, thyself an office deftly show. Thunder, first apparition appears. An armed head appears in the scene. It's a vision. Macbeth, tell me thou unknown power. He knows the thought. Hear this speech, but I say thou not. Don't say nothing. Only listen and watch. First apparition. Macbeth, Macbeth, beware. Beware Macduff. Beware the thane of pipe. Dismiss me enough. Now it's role. I played my role. I must go away. It's over. First apparition disappears. Thunder. Second apparition, a bloody child. Second apparition says, Macbeth, Macbeth, Be bloody, be bold, and be resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of the woman born shall harm Macbeth. This is also a pronouncement from second apparition, you see. This is the second apparition. Bloody child. Then all witches listen, they speak not to it. Third apparition comes. Third apparition presents a child crowned with a tree in his hand. This is again a very, very beautiful picture of a child. He is crowned and having a branch of a green tree full of leaves. So what do they say? Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care who chafes and who frets, or where conspires are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Birnamwood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him. Third apparition also goes and vanishes. Here is a condition: unless and until the great Birnamwood walks and marches forward towards the hill of Dunsinane, you are safe. Nobody can kill you. You will live alive. This was a condition. How the Birnam wood or how the forest would come, that's the question. Here Macbeth finds himself very safe. Seek to know no more. Are you satisfied? Macbeth says, let me know why sings that cauldron and what noise is this? He was still doubtful. Macbeth wants some new information, some new fortune. He wants something new, so show his eyes, grieve his heart, come like shadows, so depart. And a show of 8 kings of the list with a glass of mirror in his hand. Banquo's ghost following, they pass over the stage in a dumb show. They speak nothing, only there is a show of 8 kings. 8 kings. Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. I will show the image. Look at the image here. Macbeth demanding some more facts, some more futurity. Here are the picture third. The picture or a show, dumb show, in which the children of Banquo, the offspring of Banquo, wearing the crowns, last son holding a mirror or glass in his hand, and it is followed by Banquo himself, ghost of Banquo. This image disturbed the mind of the Macbeth very much. He was not satisfied at the sight. Macbeth here speaks and angrily, thou art too like the spirit of Banquo down. Thy crown does sear, burn into mine eyeballs. This sight again disturbs him, as the vision, the apparitions, and the witches showed Macbeth the thing which he disliked very much. It's a horrible sight. Now I see it's true, for the blood-boltered Banquo smiles upon me. He ridicules me. He mocks at me. Again, the witches dance and vanish. Apparition also vanish. There is a music also. And hereby, again that scene ends, and again another scene comes here. Enter Macduff's wife and her son and Ross. What had you done to make him fly the land, Scotland? You must have patience, madam, Ross says. Ross visits Lady Macbeth's house at 5. He had done nothing. His flight was madness. How can my husband run away from his duties, his Scotland? He left us without my consultation, without my consent, wisdom to leave this wife, to leave babies, his mansion and his place where, etc. etc. Act number 4, scene number 2 again continues. Messenger comes. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. Be not found here, hence go with your little ones. Run away from this place. There is a messenger, and he got some information about the dangerous attack on Lady Macbeth by some men from Macbeth. Whither should I fly? I have no harm. I did no harm. I have done nothing. Enter murderers. Where is your husband? He is a traitor. Thou lie, son says there. Macduff's son. Thou liest, thou shaggard villain. First murderer. What you egg? And stabs the son. Young fry of treachery. Son. He has killed me, mother. Run away. I pray you, run away. Son dies here. It's a tragic thing. Exit Lady Macduff. Lady Macduff crying. Murder, murder, and pursued by the murderers. So she also cried loudly, and she has been chased by the murderers, and it is reported that she should be killed. The dramatist had not shown the actual killing scene on the stage. Now we are in act number 4, scene number 3. Enter Malcolm and Macduff. Malcolm says, let us seek out some desolate shade and there weep our sad bosoms empty. Both Malcolm, Macduff, they join hands together and they share the same feeling. They are the sufferers of tyranny of Macbeth. They have to flee from their motherland, Scotland, and to come to the English army side and join the hands with the English king. Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, bestride our downfall and burnt down motherland. Each new mourn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows. I have lost my hopes. Bleed, bleed, poor country, great tyranny. So he is very sad over the pathetic condition of Scotland. Every day, a new murder, a new widow, and there are cries and murder and violence and bloodshed by the dictator Macbeth. Malcolm, I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, bleeds each day, a gash added to wound. O Scotland, Macduff, this noble passion, white scribbles. Old Siwal with 10,000 warlike men, already at the point, was setting forth. Now we shall together and chance of goodness. We will have a chance, we will have a luck that old Siwal with his 10,000 army, warlike men, will ready and we have war preparedness. Malcolm narrates the incident. With the help of English army and English king, we will attack on Macbeth. Then enter Ross. Sir, amen. Macduff, stand, Scotland where it did. How is Scotland? Alas, poor country! It cannot be called our mother, but our grave. Now, the country has become grave owing to Macbeth's cruelty, violence, bloodshed, massacre. Malcolm, what is the newest grief? Anything saddest news? Each minute teems a new one. How does my wife, my children? Well, why? Well, too, your castle is surprised. Surprise means surprise attacked. Attacked by the murderous people sent by Macbeth. Your wife, babes, savagely slaughtered to relate the manner where and query of this murder dear to add the death of you. Merciful heaven. My children too? Wife, children, servants, and all that could be found. Everybody was murdered. Your relatives also murdered. And I must be from thence. I am away from here, there. I have kept silence. My wife killed too. Yes, I have said it. Your wife is also died. Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure the deadly grief. Malcolm also tried to soothe, tried to make him cool, but try some medicines. He gives some remedial measures to take a revenge on such a cruelty. Macbeth, he has no children. Here we can get information that Macbeth and Lady Macbeth has no children. They are childless. All my pretty ones and my children he killed. Did you say all? Oh, Hillkite, all. What all? My pretty chickens and their dams. At one fell swoop, at one stroke. Despite it, dispute it like a man. Behave like a man. Have some courage. You should not cry like this. I shall do so. Be this the whetstone of your sword. Sharp your sword. It's a time to sharp your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Your grief transform to anger. Blunt not the heart. Never be disheartened. Enrage it. Pour all your anger on Macbeth. This tune goes manly. Now I am satisfied. Come, go. We go to the King of England. Our power is ready. Macbeth is ripe for shaking. Now the Macbeth is fully ripened. He became a grown-up fruit, just a grown-up fruit, ripened fruit. Is ready to cut from the branches and fall down on the ground and collapse. Macbeth is also will be collapsed and devastated, and to the earth, to the dust, he will get to be buried. Now another scene. Now it seems to be act number 5 here, because as there is a act number 5, scene number 1, done scene in a room in the castle. Enter the physician, queen's waiting gentlewoman. Enters Lady Macbeth with a taper. Taper means a candle or a lamp. Gentlewoman, look, you her, she comes, fast asleep. Doctor, you see her eyes open? They are surprised. They are kept by Macbeth, these two people, to treat Lady Macbeth. What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands. Lady Macbeth rubs her hand, and she was in sleep, but she walks in sleep. That is called somnambulism, the technical medicine word in which a person cannot sleep and walks in his sleepy mood, Lady Macbeth. Let here is a spot, out damn spot, out. I say 1, 2 when it is time to do it. Hell it is murky. Fie, milord, fie. A soldier and afeard. She talks in that sleep while walking. She is talking to somebody, her condition deteriorating, and she is revealing the secrets of committing the mistakes, so committing the blunders, committing the heinous crime. And here you can say she is terrified, and equally she is revealing the secrets one after the other. First secret she speaks out, that out damn spot. She wants to clear the guilty consciousness, but at the same time Macbeth is a soldier. She advises him to be bold and wash his hand. These lines are referred to that the committing the murder. After committing murder, the hands are stained with blood, and Lady Macbeth wants to clear the blood, but still some blood. He experiences that some blood is still remain to wash out. Here is a smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh. The stain of the blood of the dead King Duncan on her hands are so fast that she could not wash out the smell of the blood. Even if all the perfumes of Arabia poured and washed by such perfumes, she is unable to hide the crime. There is a guilty consciousness runs from the inner side of her. This disease is beyond my practice. Doctor also expresses view that she has been haunted by something. It's a mental disease. It cannot be cured. It is beyond my practice. Lady Macbeth, wash your hands, put your nightgown, look not so pale. I tell you it again. Banquo is buried and he cannot come out one's grave. Here also second revelations, second pronouncements. She also revealing the facts, revealing the secrets, confidential, personal facts coming out through her mouth, and this startles the two-person onlookers. Here, in the first lines, she committed the crime of regicide, killing Duncan. In the second, these lines, she speaks out that about the murder of Banquo and their burial of the Banquo. This is really horrible for the doctor and the lady. To bed, there is a knocking at the gate. Come, give me your hand. What is done? cannot be undone. Here again you can see doctor says unnatural deeds to breed unnatural troubles. This might be the moral of the tragedy. If you commit certain wrong which is abnormal, unnatural activities, that you may find that it gives birth to troubles as well. God forgive us all. Act number 5, scene number 3. Done seen in a room in the castle, enter Macbeth. Fear not, Macbeth, no man that born of woman shall ever have power upon thee. Servant comes and reports, there is a 10,000, means 10,000 soldiers is marching forward and about to attack Dunsinen. 10,000 geese, you villain, soldiers. Servant says, not geese, soldiers. Go prick thy face and overread thy fear. Thou lily-livered bear, what soldiers have face? Act number 5, scene number 3. Enter Satan. What news more? I shall fight till from my bones, my flesh hacked. Give me my armor. Macbeth is ready to fight. He is a born warrior hero, full of heroism, bravery, unscrupulous skills of war. How does your patient, doctor? He inquires the doctor. Not so sick, Lord, as she is troubled with the thick coming fancies that keep her from the rest. Macbeth, cure her that. Canst thou not a minister to the mind diseased? You are the curator. You can able to cure my loving wife, queen. Then scene 4, country near Dunsinen, a wood in view, enter Duncan, colors, Malcolm, etc., etc. Malcolm, live, this is important, Malcolm, every soldier hew him down a bow and beard before him. Thereby shall we shadow the number of our host and make discovery. Err in report of us. Malcolm wisely advises the soldiers or army to cut the branch, green branch, and hold it and march forward to hide their numbers so that the enemies could not understand their number. Now Dunsinen, wherefore was that cry? The Queen Milord is dead. She should have died hereafter. Then these are the lines spoken, touching lines spoken. It reminds us of As You Like It. In the As You Like It, Shakespeare philosophizes about the life and man. He compares it with the stagecraft. The stage, life is a stage, just similar to that. These lines are very poetic. And you can see life goes on, tomorrow, 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 from the day to day, a miserable life, a routine, just like fools who lives a short life and die. Life is compared to and parallel with the period of play activities. It reminds here Shakespeare's play As You Like It. It is the character Jack said, and all the world is a stage. Here Macbeth's speech is very, very highly thought-provoking and comments on the life. Actually, these are the comments of our great dramatists and great thoughts of our Shakespeare also. Now Act 5, Scene 5. Messenger comes. Gracious my lord, I shall report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it. Well, sir, say, sir. As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked towards Burnham, and then anon methought the wood began to move. The messenger comes with the news that the Burnham wood forest is running and moving towards us. Liar, slave! If thou speakest false, upon the next tree shalt thou be hanged alive. If it is found false, you will be hanged onto that next tree. Fear not, soliloquy. Here is soliloquy of Macbeth. Fear not till Burnham wood do come towards Dunsinane. And now a wood comes toward Dunsinane. Alarm, arm, and out. Now it's, since this is, if it is a reality, the news is true, I must now prepare myself and take the arms and fight, ready to fight. Scene number 7th, another part of the field. Alarms, Macbeth. They have tied me to a stake. What's he that was not born of a woman? Such a one am I to fear or none? It's a soliloquy. Macbeth is not ready to commit mistakes also, like the Romans found, if they are defeated, the Romans committed the suicide. He is not ready to do such activities, and he considered himself to be tied to a stake, and all animals are attacking only on one person. This was the image he finds himself, the condition he finds himself. Young Seward, what is thy name? My name is Macbeth. The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hurtful to my ear. Thou liest about tyrant. With my sword I shall prove the lie than speakest. They fight together, tremendous fighting. Young Seward is but slain there. Young Seward is quite enthusiastic and hurriedly went there, and he lost his life. He became a martyr. Macbeth, thou wast born of woman. But the sword, as I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn. Brandished by man, that's of a woman born. Exit Macbeth, enter Macbeth. Macduff also enter. That way the noise is, tyrant, show thy face. If thou be slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife, my children's ghost will haunt me still. He wants to kill Macbeth anyhow. His wife, he lost his wife, his children, and he was seeking for Macbeth on the battleground. Macbeth is in full revengeful mood attitude. He was very angry over Macbeth. It's a battlefield. Soldiers from English army, Scotland, and here is Macduff and Malcolm. Near Burnham Forest comes and approaches. Act 5. There is an act also, Act 5 comes. Scene number, last scene I think. 8th scene, another part of the field. Why should I play the Roman fool? I die on mine own sword, while I see lives gashes do better upon them. She ready to fight. Turn, hellhound, turn, Macduff says. Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back, my soul is too much charged with blood of thine already. Macbeth says that I have killed your relatives, I have killed your family. My sword has stained with much blood of yours. So I don't want to fight with you and to kill you. I have no words. My voice is my sword, thou bloodier villain, than tongues can give thee out. The time has come. They fight together. Despair my charm. Tell thee Macduff was from the mother's womb, untimely ripped. Prematurely he was cut from the body of woman. He was not born of any woman. This shocks the Macbeth, but yet, since he start fighting, they fight together. I will not yield. To kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet. Though Burnham would be come to Dunsinane, whatever happens, he is ready to fight. They go on fighting, alarms sound of the battle. And in this scene, scene number 7, scene number 8, act number 5, Macbeth was assassinated and beheaded by Macduff. Then there is a retreat. Trumpets sound of retreat. Enter drum and etc. etc. Re-enter Macduff with Macbeth's head. Macduff, hail king, for thou art behold the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. Everybody present there says, all hail king of Scotland. All hail king Scotland. Malcolm also, my thanes and kinsmen, henceforth be earls the first that ever Scotland in such honor named. Malcolm declares a great announcement in which the title of the thane is changed to earls. Now the new title has calling home our exiled friends abroad. Malcolm also orders to bring back those exiled friends to whom Macbeth has sentenced them to exile, that fled the snails, etc., etc. And so thanks to all at once and each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone. Malcolm invites everybody for his coronation at Scone. So here is a picture, fine picture. Brutal rule ends there, defeated head of Macbeth. And once again, the son of Duncan, the king, very loyal and honest, able son, against come to the throne and he is crowned at the Scone. So a revenge is taken and accomplished. There ends the tragedy.
So that's the touching story of the tragedy of Macbeth. It is finely composed by the great dramatist William Shakespeare from the Elizabethan age, living in the Renaissance spirit. Now you can see this drama is composed around 1603 to 1606. While reading, you may come across various themes and tendencies, while the thematic content is concerned, interwoven and blended each other. At every act we found some new theme and new bad qualities in Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. You can see there is a current of and tendencies of political ambition. We have the political competition as well. We have the violence, we have the separation, family separation. Lady Macbeth is separated from Macbeth due to war. Then we have a Macduff went to England, joining hands with Malcolm and English army. Then Lady Macduff, all alone with her children, she is murdered by the order sent by Macbeth. We have morality, immorality, and virtuous qualities and vices also. We have good and evil qualities and trends and threats as we see in this tragedy as well. But basic and primary theme is that corruption caused by uncontrolled, unchecked, unscrupulous, unbridled, vaulting and overleaping ambition of Macbeth. His morality is degraded day by day, act by act, from royal warrior, gentle warrior, noble warrior, a hero, to the degraded to the dead butcher, become villain, hero turn into villain. He goes on committing several series of crimes and blunders and murders one after the other, and he becomes just like a serial killer. Serial killer kills, goes on killing until the death. So the fact is that he is a cousin of King Duncan, and killing a Duncan, the higher authority, supreme authority of Scotland, it was an easy task. It is bad also. King that time was considered as a god, godly creatures. So that's why he killed his, from going to point kinship of a Duncan, and he murdered the friendship, fast friendship with the Bango. He killed both in his attempt to become a dictator or sole monarch of the Scotland. As you see, he, by murdering the King Duncan in his own castle, his castle became a hell. He was passing through a number of hallucinations and mental tortures. Equally, Lady Macbeth also suffers. So by killing the great authority, higher authority, he commits a regicide. As you know, this term, act of killing the king, supreme authority. As you know, avanculicide is also there, patricide is also there, patricide is also there, matricide is there, and this regicide. We have so many sides and buzzwords coming in the modern world, as well as these words happen in the past historical ages also. But after all, the united efforts of Macduff, Malcolm, and English army with old Seward and young Seward, and some lords and attendants and soldiers from Scotland, they invade the terrorism, the monarchy and dictatorship of Macbeth. They march forward and they suppress the dictatorship and ends the brutal end. A new wave of social and political stability and freedom and peace is restored once again as it was at the time of King Duncan. It was Macduff who became the hero in the last part. As you can see, he was dormant in the initial stages, but later he became active and dynamic, and he took the revenge, vengeance and retribution. The goddess of retribution, Nemesis, must be happy over the work, over the noble devotion and Herculean efforts of Macbeth. He was a thane of 5, but he lost his innocent wife and children. That was the tragedy also, and that's the tragedy of the Macbeth also. So after that, we have a poetic justice, you can say. Do you agree with the poetic justice in the end? Do you agree that crime doesn't pay, but the wages of sin is death? In the words of physician and doctor from the play itself, unnatural deeds do breeds unnatural troubles. This must be the moral of the play, as long as we have the theme is concerned. Now, I would like to invite you to listen to a Hindi song from Chacha Bhatia from 1977. It is finely musically composed by Lakshmikant Payarelal, and the lyric is written by Anand Bakshi. The voice is of Rafi and Shailendra Singh. This song is very, very suitable and apt with the theme of this play. That's why I have prepared for this song. Just I have to install some. Give me some minutes. कोई माने या ना माने, चकई तक तुम, सच कह गए हैं लोग पुराने, चकई तक तुम, कोई माने या ना माने, सच कह गए हैं लोग पुराने, बुरे काम का बुरा नतीजा क्यों भाई चाचा, and good luck to you all. Final words I want to summarize. And after this classical song, Bollywood song you may say, the last few words, and then we conclude this video. Shakespeare has written about 38 plays or dramas throughout his life. 150 short and long poems, and a quarter of sonnets, around 156 or 153, 1609. He wrote poetry throughout his life, and these dramas are painstakingly and innovatively composed and woven together, and it will be fascinated and attracted by the fans and lovers of literature forever and forever. In fact, he is a master of dramatic art and technique. His own contemporary, Ben Jonson, admirably say that Shakespeare is not of this age, but he is for all the time. The Victorians often worship him as a, and call him as King Shakespeare, the bard of ever. So such was the words came out from the artists, even his contemporaries and the writers of English literature. Thank you once again for watching. Good day to you and best of luck to all of you. Thank you very much.